Breakfast with Scott Levi on 92.5 ABC Central Coast.
At 7:25, Richard Olsen is the acting secretary with the Transport Workers Union New South Wales to talk about legal disposal of rubbish from illegal dumps to legal ones. There could be some full rubbish bins around the Central Coast later this week, with our waste collectors agreeing to strike indefinitely from this Thursday over concerns, and it's something that they've been talking about for months. It hasn't sort of been a flash strike. You very rarely hear about strike action these days. Workers are pretty good. Richard Olsen is the acting secretary with the Transport Workers Union and joins us to talk about this. Good to have you with us, Richard.
Good to be with you. Thank you so much.
Tell us about this latest development and why 70 of your members on the Central Coast will be walking off the job later this week. We've been talking to you, talking to council, and it was really interesting. Before we spoke to Mr. Reynolds, the new administrator, one of your driver's representatives said, look, please give us his number. We really need to talk. This is getting to the stage where it's going to come to a head.
It's going to come to a head later on in the week, as you've already identified. Look, we've done everything possible to get a hold of council. We've done everything possible to get a hold of Reynolds. We don't have his number. Certainly got some contact details, emails, and we've sent them off, encouraging him to come forward, sit down with us and have a good discussion about what the future holds for our garbos up there on the Central Coast. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thus far, we haven't been able to strike a blow. You correctly indicated that the guys up there have not...
Guys and girls? Yep.
Guys and girls have not been involved in industrial action up there for a long time. They take a lot of pride in their work up there, ensuring that we do the right thing for the community each and every day.
What are you asking for, Richard? What are you asking for?
We're asking to safeguard our terms and conditions, including wages, which can be seen through, and we have seen, through change of contracts, hundreds of dollars go out of workers' pockets.
So you're asking for the same wages and conditions that you have now, not a pay rise?
That's right.
So just the status quo?
Status quo, and sit down and let's talk about where the future is in the new contract. As the new contract comes on, which is usually anywhere from 5 to 10 years plus, where does our boys sit in that, and girls? Where do they sit? Where's their terms and conditions? Where's their job security? We haven't got answers for them at all, and that's an absolute disgrace. 2016, we cannot tell them, these waste workers that have worked up there for decades, what their future is. They all got mortgages, like everyone else in the community, and they need to be safeguarded, and job security is at foremost of our minds. And Reynolds is not doing it.
So, really, you need to talk to Mr. Reynolds urgently. What would it mean if the contracts were renewed at the same level? I mean, surely you just can't keep going to the lowest bidder, or you just go backwards. Are you at a level now which you think is reasonable, and will there be pay increases under that contract if it stays as the existing contract?
I am confident that our membership up there, together with the employer, whoever that might be, will figure out their terms and conditions going forward over the next decades within the new contract. A part of that will be discussions about wage increases, etc. But where we're right at now is we're saying the status quo remains. We want to remain exactly where we're at. If there is to be a change in the contract with a new employer coming in, it cannot be for any less than what we currently enjoy. And there is the opportunity there, which is foremost in our members' mind, that they could lose hundreds of dollars per week. And that's an unacceptable position to be in.
Is the use of contracting in this sort of core council business a bit of a way for council to not live up to its obligation? Because really these people are workers for the council. Everyone knows that core business of council is roads, rates and rubbish.
That's right.
The 3 R's, and rubbish is at the top of the list. And these people, even though they work for whoever the company may be called this time around in the contract, they work for council. Surely, is this a way to go to the lowest bidder for council to sidestep its obligation?
And council has done that in other parts of New South Wales in past years, and we're wanting to make sure that up there in the Gosford wiring area, it does not occur. It has been, and the opportunities of loss of long service leave, sick leave, and other entitlements is up for grabs here, and the only people that lose are the guys doing the job. And that, again, is unacceptable. We can have change of contracts. We can have the best bidder coming forward on equal terms, but the minimum's got to be what the people are earning right now, not what they could, less than 30% or more that they could earn, because our lifestyle is already set, and the service to all of the residents up there is already set. That's the minimum. You can't go below what people are already earning. Imagine losing $300 and we get a wage packet tomorrow. How do you survive?
So you think it's very fair and reasonable what you're asking for, which is the status quo. Is that right? You want
Absolutely.
The same contracts, so you're not asking for a pay rise, you're just asking to stay as you are. So how long before negotiations are finalised?
Well, we'd like to talk to Mr. Reynolds ASAP to get this going. And the longer he waits, the worse it can be for us and the residents of the Central Coast.
How to affect residents if it's not resolved before Thursday?
Well, come Thursday, there is a resolution on the books that the guys will engage in industrial action, and that will mean we won't be out there picking up the garbage.
Is there any way for the company to, in some industries, the management jump in and that sort of thing, but that is impossible in this game?
Well, you would imagine so, yes. That is impossible for that to occur.
All right.
That's not the position we want to be in. We want to sit down and talk to Mr. Reynolds. That's what the guys are asking for.
All right. Well, I'm sure he'll be ringing your phone as I hang up. It's not going to be a good look for the state government if the first week of administration you've got the first garbage strike in we've been broadcasting for 12 years. There's never been one. So, all right, Richard Olsen, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much.
Richard Olsen is the acting secretary for the Garbo Union, the Transport Workers Union. They say that they're going to take industrial action on Thursday if the administrator doesn't come to the table with them and work on the new contract.